The human ego, it's spoke about a lot in witchy, spiritual, occult places. And it's spoke about as a bad thing, I suppose. But the human ego isn't really a bad thing. It is something we all need, and it's something we all have. Even if you are the most spiritual person on earth, we've all got one. Because the ego is what helps us function in human life. It is a very earthly kind of energy. It is part of our persona, part of what drives us, part of our instincts. We can't remove the ego, but we can better understand it. When people talk about things like ego death, and I've talked about it too, it doesn't mean killing it off completely, because that's impossible. It's about understanding when it's helpful and when it's not. Because sometimes the ego cannot be helpful. It can be spiteful, it can be selfish. Because we as humans can be. Look at the state of the world, you know. So, I want to talk about the ego more and help people understand when it gets tested. There's something that happened to me recently which will illustrate that, okay? And I'm going to share it. But it's happened to me before, and it's happened to numerous people. And I've spoken about it on the channel too, in a different way. But maybe this will help people understand more if they didn't already. So this is when your ego gets tested on a spiritual journey by your spirits, by your deities as well. How do they do it? Let's get into it. Before we do, I'm Sarah, that divination witch, and welcome back if you're not new. This channel is a community and safe space, meaning that we don't tolerate crap. You can ask questions, you can share opinions, we don't always agree, that's fine. I just ask that we keep it civil, because there's enough of that around. We don't want it here. So if you want to join, hit subscribe, it's free. And if you want to support me in the channel, all of my links are below. I would be grateful if you could have a look. I do lots of different readings. I've got Patreon as well. I'm teaching a lot on there. About tarot, about Hecate, about spiritual things, about magic. We're going through a path working. We've got a community. There's more to come as well. So go have a look. I'd be grateful. Thank you. Okay, so I've already explained at the start what an ego is, and yes, we all need it and we all have it. And when I said as well how we can sometimes be selfish with it, we can. Because it is a very earthly, grounded thing in a way. Sometimes we can get carried away. People's ego, like, they can go on power trips. People can become very selfish, greedy, want money, want fame, want glory, you know, that kind of person. When you say, oh, they're very egotistical, yeah, that's why. That's kind of the dark side of the ego. But the ego isn't just about that. It's about functioning. It's about driving our desires as humans, and we can have it to a healthy amount, but we can also get carried away. So when we get carried away, it's that kind of thing. Someone who is very, you know, power hungry and, you know, just wants to be rich and famous and whatever else. Tyrannical in a way, I guess. And that can feed into other mental health things as well, which I'm not going to get into. But terms like narcissists, they get chucked around all the time. And yes, some people who are ego-driven like that can be narcissistic. There can be other things as well, but we're not going to get into that. We are talking about this from a spiritual standpoint. So because we all have an ego, when you're on a spiritual journey, your ego will be tested. So when you hear of things like dissolving the ego and ego death, that's what it's about. You will be presented with situations and scenarios that will test your resolve. Can you put aside base desires and base level wants and needs for the greater good? or for the greater good of yourself? Can you resist temptation? That's really what it is. Or are you easily led? Are you somebody who is going to just believe anything? Are you somebody who is going to fall for lies and illusions? This is what deities do as well, to test. If you are somebody who works with deities, higher powers, they test us like this. Now, I'm not saying this from an ego standpoint, but I'm going to be frank. Not everyone can do it. Not everyone can pass the test all the time. I'm not perfect either. There's tests I've failed and had to redo it. Have you ever thought in life, when you keep going through repeating cycles in general, not just stuff about the ego, but other things as well, we do things in cycles, because if we don't learn our lesson and break the cycle, then it will repeat and it will repeat until we learn, until we break it, until we change the behaviour for the greater good of ourselves, essentially. But specifically when it comes to the ego, you will be tested on things like, you will have a carrot dangled in front of you, sort of thing. Do you want all this money? Do you want all this power? Well, it means that you might lose your sanity, or you might sell someone out, or chuck someone else under the bus, but you will be granted this. It's temptation. A lot of people do fall for it. I've spoke about it on the channel, when people think they are the Messiah. Cult leaders can act like this. That's why I say this goes hand in hand with other mental stuff. But yeah, cult leaders, that's a classic thing. Grandiose narcissists, normally they are. Grand ideas, illusions. Oh yes, I am this. I am the blooming voice of the gods, and I am the only one. Listen to me. You won't believe in the occult how many people are like that. It is nuts. You can be a voice of the gods, but don't for 1 second think you're the only one, or that you're any special for it, sort of thing. You're human still. And then there are those out there that think they are gods reincarnated, or celebrities reincarnated, and crazy stuff like this. The amount of people who believe this, who are easily led, it is scary. If you could see, I only get to see because of the amount of readings I've done, and I feel sad for people like that. I've been tested in that way. I've been tested again recently. So I'm going to tell you my story. So first, I'm sure I've mentioned this one on the channel before, but I'll go through it again. I was tested by Hecate a while ago now. I remember, if you go to my podcast, I spoke with Morrigan's Oracle. She's on YouTube too. Speaks a lot for the Morrigan. Works very close with the Morrigan. And we, on our podcast episode, she basically had the same test happen, and I was like, oh, well, yeah, same but different, okay? So, Hecate was testing my ego, because I love her very much, okay? No one can doubt that from the channel, all right? And a lot of people do, okay? She's a lovely energy. She's a motherly energy. She's an everything energy, all right? She's got a lot of followers. Very loved. As a human, it's easy to want something extra special with that. It's a human vice, you know? We can project onto her, or any deity, even when we don't mean to, you know? So there was a time she was testing me, and Artemis, out of everyone, Artemis was in my space. Artemis came through for me. And Artemis and Hecate are very linked. Okay, we know that. But she came through to me as a separate being. She was telling me that in a past life I was a priestess. Not just a priestess, a high priestess. And I worked very closely with her. And she wanted me to be a priestess and all of this jazz. And I even got readings off other people, off randoms on Etsy, off my friends, to verify this. Because if you are getting a spirit saying grandiose claims, always check. Is it a delusion? Are they tricking you? So even I would check. Even today, I would check if I was thinking, oh, am I going to fall for this sort of thing? So, yeah, I checked, and everyone that I checked with literally was getting the same answer. So she was adamant. Yes, I'd been her person in a past life, and yes, she wanted that connection with me. But I thought long and hard about it. This went on for weeks, what I remember. And I said no in the end. Because ultimately, even if that was true, that's not who I am now. And I passed the test in the end. I was tested before with Zeus as well, ages ago in my practice, saying a similar sort of thing. But again, although I've worked with him and he's been in my space and he's still got an altar and I respect him, there's more to the Zeus thing than just this sort of test. It's complex. I'll talk about it another time. But I didn't fall for that, because they will test you. Now, at time of recording recently, in my practice, things have updated over the years and things have been updated again. This is why I said the Zeus thing's complex. So one of my deities I've finally accepted. I think I've been a bit in denial. I'll do a separate video about it. But it's Lucifer. And I've started working with Lucifer. And I think subconsciously for the longest time, despite knowing better, I can't help it. I didn't want to be lumped in with all the edgelords. I didn't want to be, told, oh, you're going to hell, it's the devil, blah, blah, blah. All that crap as well. I knew better than that. I still know better than that. But I've put it off for a long time. All the signs were there. And this is the separate video for another time. But long story short, Zeus has an aspect of him that was Ammon Zeus, and he's a horned god. I've had a connection with horned gods since I was a kid. When I was like 14, the first deity I ever kind of knew was Pan. I was into Wicca and stuff, you see. I've always liked Pan. I've always felt this connection with Pan. Then the horned god Zeus, Loki. He is known as it's a whole thing. It's the same energy, different faces, but at the core of it, it's always been Lucifer. And anyways, yes, I have been exploring that connection with him. So because of that, I'm looking into Luciferianism, and that's a big kettle of fish. And it's, it's not something I want to label myself as. I'm not that. But there's nothing wrong with it if that's what you want. But I was learning about it. Now, when I'm learning about this, I came across a lady called Helena Blavatsky. I may have pronounced her name wrong. I'd vaguely heard of her before. She was a mystic, a seer. She created a whole school of thought in New York. She was from Russia. She travelled the world. Went to India, went to Tibet, other places, and learned things ahead of her time. She knew stuff ahead of her time, and people called her a fraud and stuff like this. And she was linked with Luciferianism. Some of her publishings came out under something, she named it Lucifer something, forgot off the top of my head. And her principles in general are very Luciferian. In the modern sense, as in, self-worth as well. So as I was learning about this lady, Lucifer's giving me downloads, showing me snippets of her life, and he told me, you are her. Now, I almost fell for it. Even I'll admit, this is the ego. Because I know about my past lives, not all of them, and I take it with a pinch of salt. Even though I firmly believe in past lives, even though I do past life readings for people as well, I still take it all with a pinch of salt, because one of my core beliefs, as I've already said, is it doesn't matter who you were in a past life. You could have been Cleopatra or whatever. You are you, who you are now. That's what matters. Don't lose sight of that. Hecate's taught me that over the years. So despite knowing about past lives, I've never indulged in it. I just take it with a pinch of salt, because I've had ego tested with that as well. I've been told I was Sarah Nutter. If you know who that is, she's a famous name in the Pendle witch trials. So do I think I was Sarah Nutter? No, I don't. But alright, I've had readings saying I was. Okay, whatever. I do feel connected. I do feel a resonance with her. Doesn't mean I was her. So Lucifer was testing me again, saying I'm this lady. And one of my past lives I already knew, I've known for years, I have had a life in Eastern Europe, Slavic lands. Because I'm not sure on exactly which country. I want to say Poland, but I'm not 100% on it. And I know some details about that life. So I was trying to think, well, was that it? Because she's from Russia, she's Slavic too. No. I had to pull myself out of that crap. No, he's testing you. And he was, in the end. He even openly admitted, yes, I was testing you. There's a path working I'm going down at the minute, which is very personal, and I will eventually be telling people about it after my Cliffoth journey. I'm doing something with Hecate. And right now, I'm being tested on temptation. And not, I thought it would be in the physical sense, like, tempted to have a drink, tempted to have some chocolate, you know what I mean? Eat unhealthy food or whatever. No, it's freaking deep psychological, like, whoa, stuff. And it kind of coincided with the test of temptation. My ego wanted to believe I was special. That part of me still exists, because we can't kill it. It's there, all right? And this is what a lot of people succumb to. They want to think, oh, yeah, I am special. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's cool. I am her. I am him. You're not, babes. Even if you were, I'm not saying it's impossible, because all these souls, they were people, okay? It's not impossible, but it's improbable. Don't lose focus on who you are now, all right? But a lot of people are told things like this by deities, not just deities, but higher powers, and their little ego, like my little ego, will be like, oh, maybe I was them. And then they start believing it. I had someone, which I've spoke about on the channel, I don't like bringing it up again, because they're a nice person, but firmly believed they were Cassandra from Greek myth, because Apollo told them. It's the ego, it's a test. There's someone else I know, and I don't like to bring this up, Asmodeus is saying, you're Sarah. If you know Asmodeus, that's the love of his life. You're not Sarah. I mean, I'm Sarah because I'm called Sarah, but I'm not her, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, we will be tested. And sometimes, especially with deities, they'll keep doing it. They'll not give up the ghost sort of thing. Be like, let's drop that in again. Oh, you're the high priestess of blah, blah, blah. Oh, you're the Oracle of Delphi. Oh, yes. No, you are you. And you're being tested. Are you going to fall for something? Or are you going to live in reality? Not that that's not real, but there's a lot of movements out there. Like, I hate to say it, starseed stuff. Not everyone who's into that, but a lot who are. It's a way of them making themselves special. I'm a Palladian starseed. I'm from Sirius. Are you being serious? I'm an Orion or whatever. I don't know what these things are. Maybe you were. Maybe. Who's to say you're not? But you're still you, and you still got to do poops. I will always say it like that. We're humans. We eat, we sleep, we shit. We might pop a kid out. I don't know. Like, we're freaking humans still, mate. God, it's just exasperating. But I wanted to share because even I for a moment recently, because he's testing us. Lucifer, if you think about it, he is the light bringer. He's phosphorus. He is knowledge bringer. His light is not the false light. He illuminates the bullshit. So he was doing it with me too. Like, are you going to believe it? No. Yeah, so I wanted to share it. I've been meaning to record that one to share it with you guys. So please, please, please remember, you are you. You're special as you are. Whether you're Sarah Nutter, Mrs. Blavatsky, whatever her name is, Cleopatra, coming at you. No, you, all right? Be you, be special. Make your life special for you, all right? Anyways, I hope it helped. If you're going through this, you're not alone. A lot of us do. Just remember, it's a test, that little ego. Am I? Don't succumb to it, right? Okay. All right, if you want to learn more, check out the channel. I've got lots of different things on there, lots of different playlists teaching about this sort of stuff. Hit subscribe, and until next time, stay safe, stay witchy. Bye.